Spiderman, first violin part. If you're playing the top, put your first finger on the E. So it's a harmonic. That's 7th position. And then you're going to use your second finger. So normally in 7th position, your third finger is for a G, but you're going to use your second finger for the G, and your third finger for the A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So don't worry about playing all that soft. You know, it's really high. I just want it to be beautiful, good vibrato, and good intonation. Playing the bottom, you can start with a harmonic with the 4th finger, so this is 4th position. And then 2nd finger for the C. Then 3rd finger on the A string for the G. 4th finger for the A. And then 1st finger for the E. And then your 4th finger on the E string for the E. Okay, so here's the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the 16th notes after 15 are really hard. So you'll want to start by playing just one beat at a time, and I like to do one beat plus the note of the next beat. So the tempo is 120 for the quarter note, but I would suggest that you start about 2/3 the tempo. So here's 80. And you can start even slower, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're playing in tune with the right notes. So here's how I practice. And take as much time in between notes as you want. And then after you've worked it through probably 4 measures up to 23, then you're going to do it by the measure plus a note. Yeah. The last measure there, 22, you have a G flat on the E string, which is the same as an F sharp. So go to half position, put your first finger on an F, and your second finger right next to that for the G flat. Alright, and then you can put it together without stopping, or you can speed up the tempo, and you work your way up to 120. You can also do 120, go up to tempo with breaks. And you can repeat. So if one of them is especially hard, just keep doing that one. Just keep practicing. And then you can do it by measure. And when you get to 23, this first measure is not so hard. It's an easy pattern, easy fingering. And then it gets really hard. The next 2 measures are really difficult. So honestly, it goes so fast, and there's a lot happening in the orchestra. It's not probably worth the time it's going to take to be able to play this up to tempo. So I don't say this often, but you don't really, if you can just play the first note of each beat, that will be okay. It's really fast, it's really hard. So I just want you to prioritize your practice time, and that section, those two measures, probably not worth the time it will take. Now, however, at the end of that line, those three quarter notes, very important. So play this in third position, I would anyway. First finger, third finger for the E flat, and then A flat, second finger, and then up a half step with the second finger for the A natural. Half step to F, E half step, full step to C sharp, and then first position. And this part is hard, and you should practice it because it should be good. So go to third position on the D, and then right up to fifth position on the F. So your first finger is on the A string to play the F. Third finger for the A on the A string. And then back to 1, back to 3, then cross over to this E string for the D, and 4 for the F. So this is an F, just an F major arpeggio, but it's fast and it's hard with all the shifts. So it'll take practice. Do it the same way you're practicing before. And then practice 2 beats together. And then the whole thing. And then the next measure, your F sharp, you're just going to bring your first finger up a half step to the C sharp. The A will ring on the A string. And then the first finger hops over from the C sharp to the F sharp. And then you go to second position. And you don't have a lot of time to get there, so you really got to know how to get to second position from there. C sharp, A, fourth finger, first finger for C sharp. And that happens again. And then the A, F sharp, C sharp, open A. So those two measures, make sure that you put a lot of time into that. Just make sure you're practicing the shifts correctly from third to fifth. All right. Now, 32, you have a forte piano, so you're going to catch the string. So curl your fingers when you start to play, and then you're going to release the string so it's soft, and then you're going to make a crescendo using fast bow speed. All right, now going into 39, the fingering you choose will depend on what you're playing. At 39, from 39 to 49, I'm going to divide the part into 3 because it's really hard to play fast. So you'll either play the first beat of each measure, the second beat of each measure, or the third beat of each measure. If you're playing the first beat of each measure, I would play the measure before 39 on the A string, second finger, you can find it, it's a harmonic, third finger, fourth finger, so that when you go to the 39, all you've got to do is hop your fingers right over to the E string. No shifting for those 4 notes. 4, 2, the second finger is a harmonic, third finger on the A string for the G, and the first finger, I'm sorry, for the B, and the first finger for the G. Okay, if you're playing it in, if you're playing the second beat or the third beat at 39, then you can just play on the E string. And then you have time. If you're playing the second beat, you'll go up to the E harmonic and play in fourth position. And if you're playing it on the third beat, it's just first position. Now from 39, I'm going to play the first beat all the way through. So hop over, same thing, 4 times. Then you're going to go down a half step. So your first finger's down, go down to an F. Fourth finger's down a whole step to F. And now 4-2, 4-1. So F, hop over for the B flat. D, second finger. F, fourth finger. First finger for the F. You do that twice. Then the next line, you go down a position to fourth position, E. First finger B. Third finger G. First finger E. And you do that twice. And then you got to go back up to sixth position. So you need to make sure that your third finger that you just played, now you're going to put your first finger back there. That's the position. And then 4, 2, 4 for the G, 2 for the E, 4, hop it over to the A string for the C, and 1 for the G. So you play that twice, and then you play everything at 49. So let me play from 39 without stopping now. This is the first beat. I'll play from 38. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. So it's hard, even just playing the first beat. Now, if you're playing the second beat, here's what it sounds like. 1. Oh, sorry, that was not right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Now go to third position. 3, 1. Make sure you don't play the first beat, but there's a B flat there, so it's still a B flat where you play it here on the second beat. 3, 1, 3, 1, and then first position, back to a B natural. 3, 1, 3, 1, and then you're going to go back to up to fourth position like you started, but you're playing 4 to a C this time, so 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So let me play it without stopping now from 38, second beat. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, sorry, 3, 1, 3, 1. Now if you're doing the third beat, here it is. 1, 2, 3, oh sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now B flat and F natural, B flat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you go to second position. 1, 2. All right, you'll have to go straight into 49. Now 49. I'd recommend third position. After you play the G, put your 4 and 2 down together. The second finger needs to go right a half step up from the G on the A string, and the fourth finger is on the D string. But if you put them down together, it'll make for a very smooth slur. Now to play the G flat, you have your second finger down on E flat, your third finger is a whole step away for F, then your fourth finger is right next to it for the G flat. So I'd recommend putting 3 and 4 down together to get the G flat. Hop your second finger to the E string for the B flat. Now, if you're playing the top, you're going to shift to first finger on the D. And then you're going to shift your first finger to, you would shift to an F and play the G with the second finger. Third finger for the A. And you can just go up a half step with the third finger is easier than playing the fourth finger. And that's the B flat. So here's that. playing the bottom, you can just stay in third position. Use your fourth finger for the D, then go to first or second position. Alright, and then 56, it's really important to get this one. So, some of these 16th notes, like I've said, might not be worth your time, but this one you need to spend time on for sure. When you have slurs and you're trying to play fast, it's helpful sometimes to separate the bow. So I'm going to do the same way I practiced before, one beat plus the next note, but I'm going to do separate bows. And it's especially important that you're practicing to the next note because that's where the shift is. So that's the hard thing to play fast. If you just stop and shift, I mean, you can do that when you're learning, but it's really important that you can transition to the shift fast enough. Then once you have it, you can slur it with stops. Sorry, that was out of tune. And then you can do it without stopping.